and welcome to Talk of Your Game, and it's the preview for Accrington Stanley against West Ham United in the EFL.cup at the London Stadium. Tom, you must be confident for this one.
No, I really ain't. I'm not confident. No.
You're not confident?
No, I'm not confident at all, mate. No, they say when you're down, you get kicked even further, didn't you? And I feel that's what I'm not confident at all. I really ain't. It doesn't matter if you're playing the lowest team left in the thing. I'm not confident at all.
Mitch, what about yourself? Are you a bit more confident than Tom?
I would say I am, but I'm not as confident as I should be, considering we're facing Accrington Stanley.
Well, it's surely this is, Tom, would you say that this is their cup final, essentially? This is their big payday for the club, etc.?
Sorry, was that Joe? Sorry?
Accrington Stanley, is this the big payday for Accrington Stanley? This game at the Olympic Stadium, is this as good as it's going to get for them?
Stadium-wise, yeah. I mean, revenue, you're totally right. Yeah, we've got the fourth, I think, biggest stadium in the league, or fourth or fifth. Yeah, so it couldn't really be in a better light. And personally, they've got a good chance of actually beating us at the moment because we are, we're leaking goals left, right, centre, which we'll get onto. Yeah, but yeah, definitely revenue-wise for them, it's fantastic. I mean, they get half the gate. Is it still half the gate? Is it they get or?
Yeah, 45%. Both clubs get 45% of the gate.
Yeah, so that's fantastic for them. I mean, yeah, brilliant. 26,000? Yeah, brilliant if they sell it out.
Tom, do you care about the cup?
Beginning of the season, as you all know, we all put our review thing. I wanted a cup run, whether it be this cup or the FA Cup. Doesn't matter. I wanted the cup run, but at the moment we've got some serious issues, everywhere at the club, and I'd rather, to be honest with you, I'd rather get 30, 38, 40 points on the board, and then if that means chucking out the cups, then that's my personal opinion at the moment.
Mitch, what's your thoughts on it? Do you care about this cup competition, or has the league form 4 defeats in 5 kind of taken the buzz away from it a little bit?
No, not really. I'm quite old-fashioned when it comes to cups. I'm a cup man. To be honest, I do tend to take the FA Cup a little bit more seriously than the League Cup. I think that's just because of the history of the FA Cup. Yeah, but I want us to go all out in the cup. I'd like to see us put out strong teams no matter who we're facing, so that we can finally sort of bring a trophy back to, well, not, I was going to say Upton Park then, but to the Olympic Stadium, I suppose. Yeah,
I'm the same as you, Mitch. I'm old-fashioned on this, and I get Tom's point actually, because when we did do the season preview, everybody said we want to see a trophy, we want to see some silverware, and I'm not going to change on that simply because I don't think we're going to go down. I think we'll finish. Which, to be honest, I think we'll finish 15th or higher quite comfortably, and I don't think we're going to get into the top 7. So we're going to be finishing between 8th and 15th, which now that's where I think we're going to finish. Then we're going to have to go for the cups. Unfortunately, it does come at the wrong side of Christmas for us. I'd rather we had more points on the board, and I'm sure Tom's attitude would be different if we had beaten Watford and West Brom, for example. We had 9 points on the board and we're sitting mid-table. We'd probably have a different attitude. But the big question for this game, I suppose, is what lineup do we want to see? Tom, what are you hoping? Are you hoping Billitt's rings the changes, or do you think Billitt should teach the first team a lesson and play them against Accrington Stanley and say, until you guys, you're not on form, you need to get confidence in yourselves. So I'm going to play my actual first 11 against Stanley and kind of not embarrass them, but just make them realise that they're not undroppable, etc. Because I'd imagine most of the first teamers will be expecting a rest on Wednesday night, will they?
Yeah, but as you said, Gio, that can work both ways. I mean, he could play the first team and they could have a bad result, and it could make it even worse, the current situation, the form in the league, I'm just looking at it at the moment, I can't see anything upbeat. We conceded late goals the last 2 games. It's pretty poor the way we've managed them, we've conceded them. But yeah, change-wise, I would bring a few changes in myself. I'd probably look at bringing Oxford in. Maybe who's the guy that's been scoring goals in the youth team?
Martinez.
Yeah, bringing Martinez in. Fletcher, give them 2 up top of me. Midfield-wise, obviously it's one of the strongest positions. Probably the midfield is really strong, like player-wise. So maybe Obiang in. Yeah, there's a few changes you could do, but hey, if he does go along the lines of playing a strong 11, which if you want to get some sort of rapport going between the 11 and a sort of link, like with last season, now sort of the togetherness of the team was fantastic. So if he's trying to build that, but it could backfire on him.
Right, let's get stuck into the team then, because I think this is the only thing that's debatable as such. Then we can talk about if we're how confident we are and give us a prediction at the end. Mitch, Randolph or Adrian, who are you wanting to see in goal? Bearing in mind, you may want to see a different keeper in the league on Sunday against Southampton.
I want to see Adrian in goal because I want to see Randolph in goal against Southampton. For me, Randolph deserves a go to be our #1 keeper. So for that reason, I want to see Adrian in goal against Stanley.
Tom?
I can see what Mitch is saying, and I would tend to agree with him there, but I'd go Randolph for this game and Randolph for the Premier League.
I'm with Tom. I would like to see Randolph in both. Just give him Wednesday, just to ease him back in. Hopefully, he'll have a clean sheet. And get him used to playing with one or two of the defenders that I'd like to see appear on Sunday as well. Mitch, defence. Let's say we're keeping a back four. Who are you hoping to see? Who are you hoping maybe Bilic gets a chance to?
The defence is an interesting one because it's one of those where we've had a run of poor results. Our defence has really let us down. Then you sort of look at games that you think, well, wouldn't this be a good chance for the youngsters, for the likes of Reeks, Burke, etc., to come out and stamp their ground? It's like, well, but then Burke's on loan, so we're sort of in a bit of a limbo here, where we're like, do we risk a proper first team player like Ogbonna, who is probably our best centre back, against a team like Stanley, where we should be beating them without him, when we've got players who should be good enough to do a job out on loan? But I think I'd like to see Collins, because I don't want Collins starting on Sunday, and he should be good enough to deal with Accrington Stanley. And I'd probably like to see Reece Oxford in there with him as well.
What about your right back situation? Are you hoping Arbeloa is going to be making his debut?
Yeah, I'm hoping so. The only issue there is obviously the Byram situation. I've heard that he's got a knock. I don't know how serious the knock is. So then let's say he's going to miss a couple of weeks. Do we want to give Arbeloa 90 minutes and wear him out for the game against Southampton? But then obviously that comes down to, would that mean that we have to play Antonio at right back if that is the case? But yeah, I would probably say that Arbeloa would be the correct decision given the circumstances.
Tom, Mitch is saying Arbeloa, Ginge and Oxford, and we assume Masuaku because he's the only left back we've got anyway. It's kind of like default that he has to play there. What about yourself, Tom? What are you hoping to see across the back four?
I can agree with Collins, actually. The Collins fact, obviously, should be able to deal with Accrington. So, yeah, Collins and Oxford deserves... Well, this is one of the reasons why we're not in Europa anymore, so we need to play... Oxford's going to get paid off. He doesn't get any game time at all, so we need to play Oxford. So Oxford and Oxford and Ginge in the middle for me. See what Oxford's got to offer, which we know is great. Right back, I'd probably stick Norfolk there again. To be honest, I mean he can't. I mean I know he wasn't great the other day. He was okay. I mean, so I'll probably put Norfolk there, and obviously, Arthur down at left back again. But you're right. I mean, Accrington being League 2.
I think so. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you're right. You can't risk Ogbonna and players like that potentially in these sort of games because in their sort of league, they get away with a lot of challenges which don't get away with in the Premier League, and we can't risk any injury, especially to a player like Ogbonna.
Well, I'm afraid I'm going to annoy you both. I would play Ogbonna and I'd play him alongside Oxford purely because I'd be looking at them two to start against Southampton, and I'd want to get them 90 minutes together, get used to each other, get them talking to each other. And while I get what you're saying, Tom, they're probably going to be a bit more street at Accrington Stanley. They're probably going to have a bit more Europa League, Astra kind of argy-bargy about them compared to who they might come up against. But I would just like to see them playing with each other just to ease them in. They shouldn't come up against too much trouble against Accrington Stanley. If the team in front of them do their job, they shouldn't have that much to deal with. The right back, I would play Arbeloa simply because he's not coming back from an injury. If he was coming back from an injury, I wouldn't play him, but he's not. He's just simply needing to get match fit. So he's not like injured. He's not broken. He's just needing a bit of a run. So I'd get him right back. And that would be my back four for against Southampton. I would play, but with the view of maybe subbing one or two of them, whether it's Ogbonna or Arbeloa, I'd sub one or two of them during the game. Midfield, let's assume we're playing five in the mid. Well, let's jump up front. Mitch, are you playing one striker or two?
I think I'd go with two. And I think my two would actually be Zaza and Tony Martinez. For the Zaza reasons, because I think that I think Fletcher deserves to start against Southampton, because I think that personally, I know he didn't have much service and all that. I think Zaza had a bit of a shocker, but that's a different discussion for a different day, or a past day, maybe I should say. And then Martinez, because of he's fired in 6 goals in 5 games in the under-23s, or the B team, whatever you want to call them. And also with Fletcher sort of being that youth player who's on the fringe of the team, he's probably not going to get many other chances to prove himself. And this, he has, as he's proved, he does deserve the chance.
Tom, one striker or two, who are you playing up front? You've already mentioned Martinez earlier. Is he your only striker, or are you playing someone up alongside him?
I definitely would go for 2 strikers. I think we need to change it up. The 4-5-1 formation, or the 4-4-1-1, whatever you want to call it, hasn't been working for us this season. It worked for us last season, hasn't been working for this season. And if we're going to try new things yet, we need to change it up. So I would put 2 at the top. Martinez would be one of them, and one of either Zaza or Fletcher, myself. And for reasons, obviously, that Mitch hasn't discussed, obviously, if we do play Zaza, as Nicky mentioned, we've only got 15 games and we have to buy him. So it's a game, obviously, off that tally. So, but he could do in the world of good. You know, he could get a hat-trick potentially against Accrington, 2 or 3, and it could do in the world of good going into the Premier League.
I think we need someone to score. And that's why I would be tempted to play Zaza, just to get him, hopefully, to score a goal. We've had 9, correct me if I'm wrong, viewers, but we've had 9 competitive games this season, including the Europa League, and no striker scored a goal yet. 9 games and no striker has scored a goal. We've tried different strikers, whether they're starting or they're coming off the bench. We just need them to start scoring. And this gives the chance for a striker or 2 to get on the score sheet. Just give them that little bit of a lift. I would actually play Zaza up front on his own, purely because I think I would like to see us stick with 4-2-3-1, which I will tell you why in a minute when I tell you my midfield. Mitch, you've got 4 midfielders. Who are they and why?
I would go, this is a tough one. I would go Keener on the left, the young 16-year-old or 17-year-old, I can't remember. And I would go for Toure. And I would probably, midfield's a tough one because of, as I said earlier, this would be the sort of game where you'd like to use a Cullen or someone like that. But I think I'm going to go Noble and Karte in midfield, mainly as a psychological statement to the 2 of them.
Tom, you've got 4 midfield. Who are you playing?
The Quinn is a good call, actually. Forgot about him totally. So yes, he deserves a little shot. He looked quite good in pre-season, didn't he? Yes, I put Quinn on the left. Feghouli obviously only come back for half a game, so I'll probably put Feghouli on the right. And I don't know which one I would drop, but I'd drop one of Kute or Noble. I only put one of them in with Lanzini in the middle and drop Payet completely. Let Payet have a breather. Yeah,
I'm giving Payet and Antonio a breather as well, purely because those 2, for me, are the only 2 that should be guaranteed to start against Southampton. I think the other 9 places are up for grabs, and that's why I want to see against Accrington Stanley. I want to see players actually fighting for their shirt. I know it's only Accrington Stanley, but the players have that attitude, then they shouldn't be playing against Southampton. They should be going out, I'm going to murder Accrington Stanley tonight. I'm going to put on a performance for the fans. And like Mitch, I'm going to have a psychological effect. And instead of playing Noble and Kayati, I'm dropping Noble and Kayati, and I'm putting Obiang and Nordvik in the front of my back four, saying, just play as centre defensive midfielders, please. If Masuaku and Arbeloa bomb forward, you use your experience and your actual knowledge of the game of football and how you play your actual role, and just make sure they're covered. Make sure our defence is never exposed like it was against West Brom or Watford. That them 2 sit in it. And I would say to them, if you 2 perform well tonight, regardless of the opposition, you can only beat what's in front of you. If you show Bilic that you want the shirt, that you can play in that position, you will keep it against Southampton. You know, give them a chance, because, and I would stick with what Tom said, Queen on the left, Feghouli on the right, and to be honest, I don't have a clue who'd play in behind the striker. I'm not thought this through properly, but perhaps I'd play Zaza in behind Fletcher, maybe actually. I'd maybe drop Zaza back and say, look, you're clearly not a target man, come back, play the number 10 role, etc., and push up alongside him when you can. But I would give these guys a chance. Now, I'm not expecting a 16-year-old kid to be lined up against Southampton, regardless of how he does against Accrington Stanley, because that's where Antonio and Payet come in. They will start against Southampton. But I think it's only fair we started giving some of the fringe players a chance. And maybe this is a fixture. Me and Tom have even said give Goalkeeper a chance, but yeah, he's slamming Bilch's match. Chances are he's going to start. I think we all know he's going to start, and it'll probably be him that starts over the 16-year-old kid. I'm going to get a prediction off these two in a minute, and just how confident are they? They've both been a bit edgy so far, but you guys are watching. We want to know what team you would play. Comment below. Come onto the forum at hammerschat.com and let us know, because there is no right or wrong option on here. Everybody is going to have a completely different 11 and how we should approach this game. But Mitch, how confident are you? Give us out of a scale of 1 to 10, just how confident are you? And give us your score prediction, please.
I would say my confidence is a 7, and for the final score, I'm going to go for a very boring yet comfortable 1-0 to West Ham.
Boring, says Mitch. Tom, what about yourself? On a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you? What's your score prediction?
Scale of 1 to 10, I'm not confident at all. I mean, you can tell by my... I'm about a 4 out of 10, to be perfectly honest with you.
You're 4 out of 10.
What positives have come out of the last... What positives? There's no positives to take anything out of anything. I'm being totally serious with you. I don't feel confident at all. Will it go to extra time? I don't think it does. It goes to penalties, straight to penalties, doesn't it?
Yeah, there's no replays. It goes to extra time and pens on this one.
Extra time and pens, or is it just straight to pens?
Unless they've changed the rules. It used to be extra time and pens, but unless they've changed the rules.
Well, we're going to go extra time then, and we're going to lose on penalties.
Yeah. Do you think Accrington Stanley are going to put us out of the cup?
It's going to be 0-0. We're going to struggle. It's going to be a bloodbath, and extra time and penalties, and we're going to lose.
Oh dear, I do hope you're wrong, Tom. I'm actually quite confident in the sense that everybody at that club knows they need to win. I'm actually, this is going to sound really weird, but I'm more confident because we've got beat the last 2 games 4-2. I think if we'd won those, we'd have a sense of going into this one as overconfident, thinking the game's already won. But because we've lost them, I think the players will know that they really need to. It's almost like what we did to Stanley, if you remember that one.
Okay, then fair enough. So, what do you see as a failure for like our opposition, Accrington? I mean, if they score 1 against us, 2 against us, what do you see potentially as a failure?
Going out, I think it's pass or fail, as simple as that. I mean, even if we went through in pens, I wouldn't be. I'm not saying I'd be celebrated. I'd be seriously concerned, but I'd just be relieved to get through to the next game. It's a bit like Southampton, I mean, we'll do our Southampton preview, but I just want to see us get 3 points. And to be honest, I'm at a stage, I'm past caring how we get them, whether it's by a 60-yard over-the-top pass that bounces over the keeper's head and goes in, whether it's a penalty, whether it's an own goal, or we're playing beautiful football. I couldn't really care right now. I just want to see us win and slowly build a little bit of confidence and a little bit of momentum, and just to chill the fans. Because what you said, Tom's right. If we lose, it is going to be a bloodbath. And it's the last thing the club needs right now. But you guys at home, you've been watching us. Thank you for watching us throughout. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. Let us know your prediction. Tom thinks we're going out. Mitch thinks we're going to have a boring win. I'm going to say we'll win 3-0, simply because I just think we've got too much talent. But then I said that against Watford, and I said that against West Brom, and how wrong was I? Let us know what you think. Thank you very much for watching.